Friends, reptiles, that one guy who likes every single meme I post on Instagram. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back, and I'm gonna go with welcome back because last summer I made a video about making a LARP costume entirely from clothes that I got from charity shops or thrift shops. If you haven't seen that video, this one's probably still gonna be fine, but there's some background information, you know? The short version is Instagram picked the color scheme and the kind of character they wanted to see me create, and we ended up with a sneaky spy diplomat assassin elf with a color scheme of purple, grey and silver. And I promised that I would show you how to turn some clothes into a LARP costume and build a character around it. So here we are, I'm finally done, and I'm very excited to introduce you all to heliotrope. So heliotrope, or hell for short, I think the pronouns I'm going to go with are she, they, but obviously I haven't played this character yet, so that might change. Hell is a member of the elven royal family. Oh yes, sorry, were you expecting costumes? No, you also get backstory. We're building a character, friends. So Hell is a member of the elven royal family in the Amaranthian kingdom because we went with color schemes, and so that's what I've zeroed in on, colors. She's not a princess, she's not directly in line, but she's probably like a cousin to the king. She's still a member of the royal family, and so she's still expected to be a noble and do noble family duties, be involved in royal events, be a diplomat. She's obviously getting a world-class education and also going to a lot of fancy balls. However, on the side, Hell is also involved in spy-esque activities. They are deep into the intelligence networks of the kingdom, and while they're not super confrontational and they don't do a load of field work, she is still competent and does go on intelligence gathering missions and such like when, to be honest, I don't think she lets things go easily. If I was statting Hell in like Dungeons or Dragons, I think I'd probably be going for some kind of rogue ranger multi-class. This is the skill set I think we're dealing with. So I had a good play around with the clothes that I had and the million accessories and scarves and bits and bobs that I just accumulate. And part of that process of trying out different outfits and imagining different scenarios in which you would wear them helped build up the sense of who Hell was, not only as a person, but how I would play her. So getting into the costume meant that I could experiment with physicality and how I would do certain actions and how I would react to certain things, and it really helped me solidify in my head, what is this person's personality? What are their mannerisms? How would they come across to other people? So we're going to go through the different outfits that I tried, and we're going to talk about what worked and what didn't and what I discovered in the process. So first up, I've got an outfit that's very, very simple. I wore the premium soft grandad with the skirt and one of the belts that I found, and I turned a big shawl into a cowl thing just by wrapping it around itself and putting a brooch on it. This was pretty simple. It was pretty plain. It felt like the kind of comfy outfit that you'd wear maybe to breakfast or late at night. My main takeaway from this one was that I'd really like elf ears if I was going to play this character at an actual LARP. Next, I decided to go for something a little bit more elaborate, also more layers because it was cold. For this, I put the grey dress that I have over the very thin grey top and the skirt, and then I layered you can make a waistcoat out of a big piece of fabric by folding it in half and tying the two corners together. I'm making the scarves video, okay? The scarves video is coming. I'm going to make it. I added a pendant. I ended up only using a handful of jewelry pieces for Hell, and I think in my head they're not super into jewelry, they just have a couple of pieces they really like, and so when they dress up, those are the pieces that they wear. That's also really great from a character development perspective because obviously you can then create stories around these pieces. Where did they come from? How did she get them? How does she feel about them? Why are they important? And that's a really good landing place off which to build your roleplay. I added a scarf as a belt, and scarves as belt is something that I played with a lot in this costume, and I think it's an element that works really well, but I also put a shawl around my shoulders because it was cold. And what I had in mind was like a walk through the palace gardens with some friends. I'm not sure Hell has that many friends. The impression of the character I was building up is that this is someone who maybe struggles to relate to people, either because they're of a different social standing or because they are of the same social standing and age, but they're not secretly desperately trying to foil plots of treason around school and going to balls, which makes it really hard to build a mutual friendship. Also, I think Hel is a little awkward, but we'll get on to that. The next outfit, I was really trying to make this skirt work, and I was just trying anything I could think of. The next outfit I tried was a herb gathering outfit, maybe a foraging thing. I'm pretty sure Hel is too posh to have to actually forage most of the time, but she does have to make poisons, and it's a bit difficult to explain to people they need to bring you these very specific plants, so it's good PR. I'm not convinced this outfit entirely worked. This time I was wearing the skirt with the drapey jumper that I got. It's sort of bat-winged and very loose, so I tried tying it back with what is actually a gold and silver obijime that I have. I wore that pendant again. I tried putting a scarf in my hair. I didn't like the headband. I tried some other headband looks later on that I liked better, but I wasn't convinced by the scarf headband. It was a little vintagey for the feel I was going for. Some knitted mitts because it was cold. Yeah, this one didn't super work, but I think I learned some things from it. Next outfit. Now, I haven't done very much spy stuff yet. Let's have a spy outfit. This one was actually super simple. It was the grey jumper, the trousers that I have. I put my knee-high black boots over the top of the trousers. I wore my bandolier and 2 belts. If you ever want like the full-on J fashion, I'm just covered in leather straps, you just wear a lot of belts. You can wear as many belts as you want. No one can stop you. It looks cool. And then I wore some purple suede velvet gloves and a painted silk scarf that I ended up using a lot. I put that over my face. I did not super enjoy the silk scarf over my face, so obviously when you tie a bandana on, you fold the fabric on the bias so you have stretch over your... this just didn't have enough stretch. It was not very comfortable. I think if I was going to do that again, which I probably would for doing the spy elements of the character, I'd get something stretchy. But I really liked those gloves, and something I was conscious of as I started building more and more outfits was that Hel doesn't like wearing a lot on her hands, which I think makes sense because at any given time she has to be able to put on gloves and go do deeply illegal stuff where she can't leave fingerprints. We're going to assume this fantasy kingdom has discovered fingerprints, okay? We're going to roll with it. So aside from the mitts, which obviously leave your fingers bare and very nimble, and the gloves, I didn't really do anything hands and wrists wise. Oh, not true. There is one other wrist accessory, but we'll get to that. But no bangles, no bracelets, no rings. And I think that makes sense as well from a perspective of sometime you might have to deal with poisons or oil to oil squeaking hinges, or have to do very fine dexterous work to like pick a lock, or you might have to stab someone and then you've got to get the blood off your hands real fast, and that's not happening. I don't know if you've ever got covered in fake blood when you're wearing rings. One of my least favorite things is trying to clean Kensington gore off a set gemstone. Very bare, very clean hands I think made a lot of sense, and I'm really happy with what I did with that. But otherwise, it's a pretty simple outfit. There's not a lot to it. It was just a lot of fun. The reason I keep looking down is the videos are on my phone and I'm like referencing them. Oh, sword practice. So I don't think Hel is a sword fighter. I don't think Hel is much of a fighter at all. I think they probably have to learn the basics because they're a noble and a member of the royal family, but they're not good at it. So for this, I wanted something that was comfy and easy to move around in and fairly warm because have I mentioned that it's January? And one thing that I did discover about the costume that I had assembled is it is not very warm. Just remember that. And to be honest, this is pretty much the same outfit as before, except I'm wearing the purple top instead. The purple top is nice and long, so it works very much like a tunic. I'm wearing a knitted silk infinity scarf or a cowl around my neck. I've used both of the scarves that I use quite a lot in this costume, one of them on the braid and then one of them just attached to the belt and hanging down like a pendenty thing. I think people can overthink things a little bit. You can just tie a scarf to yourself. You need a pop of colour, tie a scarf to your belt. You want some movement, tie a scarf to your hair. It's not rocket science. You can just add some flair with a bit of fabric. The scarves video is coming. I promise you it's coming, okay? I have to get through the makeup one first. Obviously Hel's wearing the gloves again. I really like these gloves. I think they really work for the character. I very much got the sense just mucking around. I'm not the biggest person on LARP combat anyway, but I think if I was playing Hel in a game, she would still not be a frontline fighter. Definitely someone who's capable of handling a sword, not particularly good at it. I don't think they enjoy it very much. It's just the vibe that I got. To be honest, I think that this kind of an outfit probably would make more sense for Hel going riding, but I don't have a horse, so you're just gonna have to imagine that bit. Now, the next clip is proof as to why you should not shoot into the sun. So the next outfit, I did almost the same clothes. I untucked the trousers, I swapped out the belt for the obijime. I put on the cropped jacket that I got, which I think this is the first time you're seeing the cropped jacket. I added one of the brooches I got on that trip, because again, I think this is it's the second time you're seeing one of the brooches. And I put a scarf over Hel's hair. My concept for this outfit was Hel is going to the market. They're not trying to be incognito, but they are trying to be discreet. Again, Hel is a minor member of the royal family, so it's not like our princess is going shopping in the market, but people do know who they are and have mostly positive. I think the royal family is very well liked in this kingdom, so I think mostly positive feelings around this person and may recognize her if they see her. So she's expecting to be recognized, but she's also making an effort to be discreet. I don't want to be seen going to the market and going shopping for a new scarf or spy stuff. Definitely not picking up dead drops. Probably one of these situations where going in like fully incognito would be much weirder if they got caught, but going in like, oh, I just want to enjoy the market, I'm worried about being recognized. I think a lot of people would play along with, oh, that's heliotrope. She obviously doesn't want to cause a fuss. Let's be nice and not be like, oh, hey, it's a member of the royal family. They can get away with picking up letters from all their contacts that have been secreted around the market. I'm not really sure what I was going for with this next outfit. I think is a bit more traveling / maybe some more rangery things. I'm wearing the trousers again, this time with the very thin mock neck grey top. Because that top is so thin, I'm wearing the piece of fabric as a waistcoat over the top again. I've got one of the belts that I got from the thrift haul. I'm wearing the bandolier again and the woolly mitts because I was cold. And then I was worried there was too much purple in the outfit, so I added the grey scarf, again just to the belt to hang as a pendant. A lot of Hel's outfits ended up being very drapey or with like hanging flowing bits, so just carrying that through to less drapey and flowing outfits with these sort of hanging scarves, I think actually tied everything together in a way that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. I think this outfit would work better if I'd had a more specific scenario in mind. It was mostly just proving that it worked. So I basically ran out of time filming outdoors and was like, maybe being warm would be nice. So I have to go at some cozier indoor outfits. This first one I was thinking of as basically hanging around in the library, getting stuff done. It felt very practical, but also cozy. I think I wore the very thin grey top as a base layer and then put the grey dress over that and then put the purple tunic top over that. So this was about as cozy as you could get in these clothes. I put the grey scarf in my hair. I put on a knitted purple shawl that's got a lovely lacy pattern, pinned that with one of the brooches. I'm wearing that pendant again. I'm wearing one of the belts, again with the scarf tied to the belt to give more of a drape on one side. That I think just balanced out the drape of the shawl. I think that worked. Overall, I think it could use a little bit of finessing, but one of the things I really liked were these sleeves. So these are literally just tubes of very thin wool lined with linen. I sewed them ages ago. They go with a specific coat. They're tight enough that when you pull them on over another top, they normally just stay put, but they also, as you pull them on, tuck everything up. They're very neat. They feel a little bit like those Victorian sleeves that you see domestic servants wearing. I just think that did a really nice job of conveying Hel's preoccupation with their hands being free and clean and neat, which I could see people interpreting as being a bit preoccupied with things like being clean and neat and tidy, because they don't realize about the sometimes you're just gonna have to stick your fingers in poison and then stab people in the back. It's just gotta happen sometimes. Then I tried for a slightly dressier version. I was still trying to make this skirt work, and I'm not quite sure I pulled it off, but I wore it with the thin grey top. I put the jacket over the top, pinned the jacket closed with one of the brooches that had a particularly long back. I think that worked quite nicely. And then I tried wrapping one of the shawls that I have around that grey top. Rides up. I'm long in the torso and it's not long in the torso, and then this skirt sits really low on my hips. So I could either have an awkward belly section or I could wrap wrap something around and try and cover it up, which is what I did. I used one of these shawls and one of the belts that I ended up using actually quite a lot. And then I'm wearing the stag necklace again, the one other necklace that I decided Hel really cares about, and then this floral silver comb, which again I used in a few more costumes. It just worked really nicely. This outfit for me I think was a little bit more, Hel is showing people around the castle. Hel is being the young noblewoman and is in her own home, so she's not super dressed up, but at the same time she is hosting. It's a tea gown. That's what I'm getting at. It's I'm comfy, but I'm also fancy because I have guests. And then I wanted another shot at a more spy-like outfit. I think I felt I was overcomplicating things slightly, so I just wore the trousers and premium soft grandad. One of the belts, I wore the silk knitted cowl thing again, and I also put a scarf over my hair. I didn't do anything fancy with the scarf. I literally wrapped it round and tied a piece of string so it stayed there. It is amazing what you can get away with. Oh, and I obviously also wore the gloves. This one, it was fine. It was serviceable. I still felt that the character came across. I was really getting the sense that there was this very strong dichotomy in Hel's outfits. So you had these very long, elegant, diplomatic outfits in which it really felt like Hel wanted to move in a certain way and convey herself in a certain way. And then you had the more casual, comfy spy outfit where I think a very different side of the character could come out, and that Hel is actually has many of the same traits, a little bit more assertive. Diplomat Hel really felt like she was very upright, very forceful, but in like a delicate way. How do I put this? Mon Mothra, right? Very calm on the surface, very capable of putting their points across in an eloquent way, but also with a great deal of conviction. And I very much got that Hel, in the very elegant dresses and the other diplomatic outfits, she talks with her hands in a very stylized and fluid way that involves a lot of tensing weird, but getting into the mechanics of how physical acting works is really weird, but it involves holding tension in weird parts of your hands, and they make strange, very elegant shapes, something that happens sometimes. That's how she talks when she's being a diplomat and a member of a noble family. And there's a sense that she's holding back in some way. And I think that would read very much as she's holding back because she's not actually a very good diplomat. I think Hel would be perceived as anxious or insecure in more formal, noble-esque settings, because in the back of her mind, she's always got, okay, there are 6 people in this room, minimum, who would commit treason today if they saw the opportunity. And I think if people didn't know about the spy stuff, they would very much get the sense that Hel wasn't fully paying attention to the conversations, or would get distracted, or would be looking for an exit from this conversation because actually there's 3 other things they have to go deal with now. Whereas when they are getting to just be a spy and in their element, I think they would feel a little bit more focused, and that comes across as confidence. She's in her lane, she's hydrated, she's flourishing, she's focused, I've made another neurodivergent character, haven't I? Yeah. Okay. That's... Spying as a special interest is new, but okay. At which point I was like, I have not used one of these dresses at all. It's time to do the fancy outfits. I genuinely thought this evening dress was going to be difficult to style. If I can come up with 2 ways of wearing it, I'll be happy. Hel needs to have at least one fancy dress, but it is an indulgence. It's not really a core part of the costume. I was wrong. This dress is great. It's really versatile. I was not expecting that. So the first look I came up with was, this dress has a knot detail on the front. It has the smallest of holes in it, so I threaded the aubergine through it to make that stand out a bit more. I've got that comb in my hair again, along with a diamante headband. It's like floral motifs or something, but it's mostly sparkle. And this, I think, was a better go at the headband idea than the scarf I tried before. I'm obviously wearing the gloves, and this time you get to see them in their full glory because they do go up to my elbows. I'm wearing that that one pendant that Hell obviously loves and cares about a lot. And then the easiest thing I have ever done, it looks incredible. That piece of fabric I used to make a waistcoat, I just pinned it to each shoulder with a brooch. And now I have this glorious elven drapey train. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes it is that simple. So that was what I had in mind as highest formal royal banquet outfit. Let's take the formality down a notch. Maybe it's just a dinner or a party. So we've gone from white tie to cocktail party. So I wore the jacket over the top of the dress, worked great. And my arms felt kind of bare, even though kind of bare was what I was going for. So I added in a shawl just to have a little bit more interest in what was going on there. Still wearing the headband. I actually really liked that. I thought it worked quite well. I'm sad I didn't use it in more outfits. Put a pin in that. I have comments. And I also wore one of the brooches just as a brooch. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes you can wear a brooch in the place you would normally wear a brooch. Then I was trying to get a little bit more creative with formal scenarios. Okay, what if it's cold? This dress is sleeveless and that jacket's not really doing very much. So I had a go at a winter party look. I also had a go at putting my hair up. What can I say? Star Wars was on my mind. I don't like the updo. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't like the updo, but I did like the stag necklace in my hair. I quite liked that. I thought I could have done more with that, but otherwise I am wearing this evening dress over the top of the jumper. I love wearing evening dresses over chunky woolly jumpers. I don't know what it is. It makes some happy part of my brain go yee. And I'm wearing this grey fur stole, which again, I wish I'd used this more. I think this is really good. And of course the gloves. I decided to extrapolate from the fact that Hell's costume is not warm, that Hell is also going to complain about being cold most of the time. I should do something about that because this is untenable. At this point we were freewheeling into Andor, and so I had a go at some more casual but dressy outfits. So this is the grey dress. I think I'm wearing the purple top underneath it, and then I'm wearing the jacket over the top. One of the plain coloured scarves has been wrapped around itself to become a cowl again. I really like this. I think this is a detail I want to use a lot. I'm wearing the gloves again. I had a go with the painted silk scarf that I have and the aubergine at something more traditionally Obi-esque. And I think with the raised waistline on the grey dress, I just think this looks really good. I think because the evening dress has that high knot detail and then the grey dress has this high waistline, I'd really like to do more with these decorative scarf high waist. In particular, I think I'd like to try some of the other tops with the high waist detail. I just didn't quite think of it at the time. Having said the updo didn't really work for me, I like the braids. I think the braids kind of work. I definitely feel loose hair or the big chunky side braid is the most Hell, but the pigtails I think also gives another vibe to Hell's character. There's Heliotrope the diplomat, and then there's Hell the spy, but there's also Hell the niece, cousin, friend. Who Hell is when Hell is not playing a role or doing a job. I think the twin braids comes out really nicely in there, and I think that actually signaling which role Hell is trying to play through their hair could be a really cool idea and motif to play with. It's not going to be perfectly one for one, of course, because this wig, it's a fun idea and it's something I'd like to explore a bit more. Then I had a go at, okay, we've had the big fancy party. It's now 4 o'clock in the morning. I've come down for a snack. There's people here. I was not expecting there to be people here. Okay, I'm basically in my pajamas, which I think this purple tunic top is a pajama top. Likewise, the grey dress is super comfy. I added a purple plated belt that I found. I didn't really end up using this in any other costumes. I think I could have done more with that belt. I think I should have lent into it a bit harder. I have the cozy knitted sequin shawl and I have the knitted mitts. This is me being comfy. This is me being warm. Then I just wanted to see if I could dress up the grey dress a little bit, and it turns out, yeah, I kept this pretty simple. I'm wearing that one pendant again, and I'm wearing a scarf on the waistline. I just did the trick where you pin a piece of fabric to your back again. I don't know what to tell you. It makes every outfit look like you're an elven princess. In my mind, this outfit it's a fancy formal dinner, but Hell is not trying to impress you. If anything, Hell is trying to intimidate you, which is why I went really heavy on the grey, really severe. It's sort of formal on a technicality. I don't think Hell is very comfortable at this party. I think Hell is like, at any moment, I may need to ditch the cloak and go do spy shit. So it's probably trousers under that skirt for a quick change. But that's the kind of outfits outfits that you would need. You need to be able to go, oh crap, everyone is distracted in the party and I have successfully slipped away, and now I need to climb into someone's bedroom to see whether or not they've been plotting against the king, and I need to be backed by the dessert course. That's the kind of thing you have to do when you're deep into politics. So one of the things that's really important about doing a kit test, which is basically, this was a very extended kit test, is figuring out what works and what doesn't work. There were definitely some accessories that I felt I could use more. There were definitely some accessories that didn't work as well. Some of the clothing items worked really well and some of them didn't. They weren't the ones I expected. I really expected to struggle with the premium soft grandad, and I really wasn't sure about the grey dress. I'm now super happy with both of them. I'm not sure I want to count the thin grey top with the high neck. I'm wearing it now, aren't I? This top, I'm not sure I want to count this as one of the clothing pieces because it's see-through and you can't wear it as a shirt on its own. We're maybe gonna rejig things a little there. The jumper, I didn't think the jumper was going to work, but actually it was pretty okay. It was much more versatile than I thought it was going to be. Hilariously, the only thing that really didn't work was the skirt. I thought the skirt was going to be one of the like slam dunks of this costume, but it's just, I don't like wearing it. Something about how much the fabric clings to itself and the fact that all the weight is at the hem. It's loud. The skirt has a row of beading and metal details and that's sewn onto the bottom. It's just loud. It clinks and clunks where it bounces off everything. I don't like wearing it as a player, and as a character, for hell, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they wear that? It's totally going to blow their cover. It's not cozy to lounge around in. It's not sufficiently dressy. You can't wear it to formal event. I think the skirt has to go. It has to be out of this wardrobe and it's got to be replaced by something else. Which is the other thing that I noticed. None of these clothes are warm. The jumper is okay at best. None of them are good at heat. It doesn't have a coat or even like a long-sleeved dress. It needs a warm thing. Even the jacket that I have is sewed summer weight. It's for weddings. It's not for scout camps in March. The other big thing that I noticed, which came as kind of a surprise, I've hinted at it a few times, that wig. Oh boy, that wig. I don't actually remember why I originally got it. It might have been for the Arwen costume. If you haven't seen my Arwen costume, which statistically, I've seen the numbers, a lot of you haven't, go check it out. I'm super proud of it. It involves fire. This is a Cosworks wig, which means it's for cosplayers, and there is so much hair in this wig. So much hair. A truly astonishing quantity of hair. It's so thick and not as long as you think it is somehow. At one point, I was just like, well, let's try braiding it. That must make it more manageable. No, it doesn't. I thought I was okay at wigs. It turns out I do not know nearly enough about wigs. I think I need to invest a lot of time and energy into styling that and putting products into it to make it more manageable, because if I want the waterfall of hair down the back that feels very elven and also very appropriate for hell, this wig needs work. I am really glad that I'm finding this out now and not on Friday night of a LARP game. Just in case it wasn't clear, this is a slightly frivolous activity. I don't have a LARP game to play this character at. They are being invented from whole cloth for the benefit of videos, but because the videos are instructional videos on how to costume a LARP character, we need a LARP character to costume, and I wanted to start from scratch and not bring in any of the many characters I've already played and have a lot of preconceptions and existing kit for. So what's next? Well, when I originally posted the Instagram poll, which is what led to Heliotrope, there were a lot of other options that people did not pick as often as this one. It's almost like I now have 4 sets of data and a backstory. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you've learned something about taking a whole bunch of clothes and accessories and turning them into a costume and a character. If you did enjoy the video, I hope you'll stick around for more videos on the subject of building costumes and characters. I have been watching my numbers. You guys like the LARP stuff, which is good because I can make that stuff a lot quicker than I can sew things. What they don't tell you when you start a costuming channel is that people don't show up for the sewing videos in the way that they say they will. will. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to keep the YouTube gods happy. Follow me on Instagram if you'd like pictures of my cat and memes. So many memes. And down in the description box you will find a link to my Ko-fi page where you can make a one-off or reoccurring donation to support the channel and my desire for 3 more LARP characters that I won't actually play. Going with its educational content. I'm not getting to LARP at the moment. Let me have this. Ko-fi supporters get early access to all of my videos, permanent access to things like live streams, and sometimes extra sneak peeks. I make no promises. I'm really inconsistent with that. Thank you so much for being here. Dream big, and I'll see you next time. Turning a bunch of... I hate you. Why do you do this to me? Why do I film in the living room, knowing that there's a cookie clock? I really hope the camera battery doesn't die on me in the middle of cuckoo. You are still going, right? You're still going!